Hi everyone, welcome to Mendix Malt. Mendix Malt is a YouTube channel dedicated to Mendix where we talk about Mendix over some beer. In this episode we're going to be talking about how you as a Mendix business engineer should be applying your strengths to the right kinds of projects. In other words, when Mendix says go make it, you know what type of innovation project you should be working on. So if you want to know that, if you want to know what type of projects you will enjoy, if you want to know what type of projects you should innovate in, then this is the episode for you. But before we do that, let's go get some beer. So, previously, if you were a Mendix business engineer and you had this idea, you had a real problem to releasing that idea to market without some real enterprise support behind you. But recently, Mendix has been removing the friction between a Mendix engineer being able to release something, release a product or a service out into the market. Firstly, in 2019, they opened up sandbox environment to have and enable unlimited number of users, so it wasn't restricted anymore. So if you had an idea, you can just build something, release it, and get users on board. And now, recently, they've been launching the startup program. I think that was announced in 2020. So they are busy removing the friction to launching something. Some of you might remember Simon Wardley from the 2016 Mendix World. He attended that Mendix World and he gave a talk on Wardley's maps. He's since created a book on Wardley's maps. It's a free book available on Medium, and I'll put the link down below. It's really a great book. I recommend you read it. It's a book on strategy and strategy development, which is not what I'm talking about now, but I recommend you read it anyway. It's really useful. Inside his book, Simon suggests that everybody has a gravitation to a certain type of project or has a gravitation to a certain set of characteristics that make up their personality. And he proposes that you can divide people who work on projects in one of three camps. You either have the pioneer, or you have the settler, or you have the town planner. So each one of these people are brilliant people, and there's innovation that can be created in these various areas. But he identifies these three areas, and that's what I want to talk about now. So pioneers are people who can take an idea from nothing to making it something. Now there's a lot of risk, there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of people work involved in that, but these people are able to prove that there is value in an entity or in the application, a future value, and he calls them pioneers. They can take it from nothing to something. The next type of people are settlers, and settlers take what the pioneers have started, this thing that's more or less working, where you know that there's future value here, but they're able to take that thing and they're able to settle it down or bed it down. They're able to build good standards, good practices, and they're able to scale it a little bit, but just to get it to a stable state where it's kind of more ready for wider market. And the last type of person that he talks about are town planners. And town planners take what the settlers have started and built, and they really scale it. They componentize the various aspects of the solution. They put in even deeper standards, and they're able to take that system and offer it and scale it further into its various parts.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
So I shot this footage a couple of weeks ago, and if I look at it now, I think what is missing are some practical examples of what a pioneer, a settler, and a town planner do. Who are these people? A great example of a pioneer is someone like Steve Wozniak with the first computer that he created. That's not the Apple one. I'm not talking about the Apple one. I'm talking about the computer he brought to the Homebrew Club, where he showed the concepts of how you can type into a computer, or how you can display the output of a computer onto a color screen, or I don't even know if it was color back then, but onto a physical screen. That is an example of a pioneer. So there's great value there. Perhaps you're a pioneer, you have a brand new concept that you can use Mendix to release to the world. A great example of a settler is still Steve Wozniak, but perhaps more with Steve Jobs' help. that would be a great example of that would be the Apple I and the Apple II. So that is to take a concept that has been invented already, the desktop computer, and settle the product down so that you can start to manufacture it or start to scale it somewhat, and release these to the wider market. So what I'm trying to say here is not that everybody has to be a pioneer to release a new product or to be a maker. Makers can be pioneers and they can be settlers. There's a lot of innovation that's needed to move something from pioneer to settler, and there's a lot of innovation that's needed to move something from settler to town planner. And a great example of a town planner is in AWS. I would say in AWS. So AWS, specifically in the Lambda compute that they offer, which is really like in a way that you can hire computing power for the moment and the time that you only need the computing power for. So that is an example of town planner. Somebody has taken a concept like computing power and distributed it very widely, really scaled it out. And as you can see, similarly, there's a lot of innovation that's needed to move from settling to town planner. So if you're a pioneer or a settler or a town planner, you are a maker. If you're somebody that is making, inventing in the space, you don't have to be a pioneer. You can settle, you should see yourself fitting into one of these three brackets. And there's a lot of enjoyment and a lot of solution making in each one of these three. So if you're a maker, you should kind of start to see yourself performing or enjoying one of the spaces. And if you understand that, you're going to look for opportunities that fit your kind of character and your kind of personality a lot nicer. And that is really the point of this video, is to try and fit yourself and try and identify what area you should fit into, so that when you look for those type of opportunities to make something, you look in the area that you would enjoy making in the area you would enjoy inventing in. And that is the point of the video, and I hope that comes through.
And now, our feature presentation.
So, go check it out. I found it really useful to apply my own strengths. There's really value in each and every one of these cases. If you're a pioneer, you're going to like starting something from nothing, but you're going to struggle to take it into any kind of scale or any kind of really usefully growing tool. If you're a settler, you're going to take what pioneers have started. You're going to struggle to get things from growing from nothing, but once there's something there, you can take those beginnings of the idea and really bed it down and really start to build a sustainable team around that entity. And if you're a town planner, you take these things that the settlers have started to build and you really make it efficient. And you can drive those kind of efficiencies into your code base, into your solutions. So just remember, town planner, settler, pioneer. I hope that you're able to use it. I hope you find it useful. If you do find it useful, let me know. But until next time, cheers.